Chapter 239, The Realm of Creation. Chu Chen becomes a god and heads to the god realm. In a space bathed in a glazed, otherworldly light, the god of destruction and the goddess of life descended, and Chu Chen stood before them. "Two seniors, we meet again," he said, bowing slightly and cupping his hands. "You now hold a god position with a legacy higher than either destruction or life." But the god of destruction began. The original god of creation split into the current 5 great god kings. Destruction and life are only 2 of the most important parts. The goddess of life finished. If you want to take the final step, you still need the authority of the other 3, the god of destruction concluded. The goddess of life nodded. Once you achieve the god of creation position in full, you will be able to use your power to appoint new 5 great god kings. "Are you ready?" she asked. Both seniors were moved. They had only hoped Chu Chen could inherit a dual god body, taking on the 2 god kings of destruction and life at once. They had never imagined his talent would be so extraordinary that he could fuse life and destruction and touch the edge of the god of creation. Chu Chen hesitated for a moment. "But will the other gods in the god realm object?" he asked. "What they want most is stability in the god realm. The return of the god of creation need not be a bad thing for them," the god of destruction said with a smile. "If you are determined, we will help you." Chu Chen thought a moment and then smiled. "Then let us begin." He began to evolve, stepping beyond the human realm into the realm of gods. His soul rose to a higher state, his spirit cores condensed into divine cores. The spiritual markers that his 2 spirits had carried dissipated and refined, merging into a single, pure mark that circled and condensed around his body. Far away, inside the Stardew Great Forest, the Tianmeng iceworm, who had earlier returned to the Snow Empress's side, erupted in a godly aura. In the same instant, it too ascended, entering the realm of a divine beast. "I have become a god. I have attained eternal life," the Tianmeng iceworm cried out, ecstatic. Tian, the Snow Empress, and the others looked on with green-eyed envy. The Snow Empress and the Ice Empress in particular regretted not having been beside the iceworm earlier. "Does that mean Chu Chen has already become a god?" Yilingling asked. "He has stepped into a higher realm of godhood, but he won't be in danger." "Let us wait for him here," Qian Renshui said. Yilingling and Chuer felt a wave of relief at his words. "Chu Chen, you have entered the realm of a god. Our true bodies will await you in the god realm," the god of destruction said, his voice heavy with the relief of a burden lifted. At that moment, Chu Chen felt as if the world were in his hands. Wherever he looked, the truths of all things unfurled before him: reincarnation and rebirth, creation and annihilation. He had inherited a divinity, not simply destruction or life, but the singular god position that emerged from their fusion. The moment he fused his cores, this outcome had been set. He carried the essence of the god of creation. Yet the position was not complete. He still lacked the authority of the Asura god, the god of goodness, and the god of evil. Everyone. Chu Chen turned into a beam of light and descended to the lake of life. Dugubo rushed forward. Having seen Chu Chen's ascent with his own eyes, how could he not be overjoyed? He had watched Chu Chen grow through every step. "A preliminary success," Chu Chen told them. "But I'm still a bit short. I must go to the god realm to finish the last step. I leave the care of the Douluo continent to you all." "Will you come back?" Yilingling asked, her voice small. Chu Chen took her hand and smiled. "Of course I will return. But now that I have become a god, I can no longer interfere directly in the affairs of the Douluo continent. The upcoming Douluo Federation will require everyone working together. When everything is settled, I will return. When it's time, we will go to the god realm together," he promised. "On this trip, I'll also break the restriction that prevents spirit beasts from becoming gods. When that's done, Senior Tian, Snow Empress, you will both be able to challenge divinity if you desire." He knew both Tian and the Snow Empress were proud and would rather fight for divinity themselves than rely on someone else. "Xiao Shui," he said, turning to the Snow Empress. "About Blue Silver City, take this seed to the City Lord and have it planted. It will help the people's spirit evolutions." He condensed his origin and summoned a seed of life. Then he turned to Lingling. "Lingling, please go to Dihun Village and bring Grandpa Village Chief to the Federation." My trip won't take long in the God realm, but on the Douluo continent, time runs differently. Qian Renchui's brow tightened when he heard this. 1 day in the God realm is 1 year on the Douluo continent, he said quietly. At the very least, it will take me a year to return, Chu Chen replied. The group was stunned. The implication was terrifying. If he spent only 3 months in the God realm, a century might pass back home. We will wait for you, Ye Lingling said with a smile. Wait for you to come back and marry me. Chu Chen laughed loudly. After bidding everyone farewell, the space around him twisted into a roiling storm of cosmos, and he vanished into the horizon. We will wait for your return, a familiar voice said suddenly in his ear. It was the Silver Dragon King. Although she had not completed her seclusion, she still sensed events outside. When she said we, her meaning, who that we included, was not entirely clear to Chu Chen. Boom! In the fairyland-like God realm, space shattered into countless fragments. Chu Chen descended into that fractured space. 2 figures materialized beside him, his 2 guardians. 2 seniors, we finally meet in person, Chu Chen said, smiling. Thank you both for guarding me along the way. I will never forget the grace of your legacies. It's like seeing a son grow up and succeed, the god of destruction boomed, chuckling. It really does. It certainly feels that way, the goddess of life added with a light laugh. Chu Chen smiled inwardly at their fondness. Suddenly 3 more rays of light descended, the Asura god, the god of goodness, and the god of evil. Their arrival carried a crushing presence. The Asura god's face was like cold water, his teeth ground together. Asura god, Chu Chen said calmly, you have tried to kill me many times. Today, we should settle that score. With a wave of his hand, an invisible spatial domain unfurled, directly wrapping the 5 god kings present and withdrawing them from the world. The creation domain. Once inside the creation domain, everything lost its previous meaning. The terrifying light that radiated from Chu Chen's body even dimmed the Asura god's divine aura. Chapter 240, The Initial Authority of Creation, the brand new Douluo Federation. What kind of power is this? Why isn't his strength only destruction and life? Asura god's face went ashen. Standing opposite Chu Chen, a newly born divinity, he, one of the 5 great god kings, didn't even have the will to fight back. This was absolute suppression by power. You two, I bear you no grudge. Are you intending to attack me with Asura as well? Chu Chen's voice carried the weight of judgment. His gaze fell on the god of goodness and the god of evil. After a short silence, they stepped down and stood beside the god of destruction and the goddess of life. What Chu Chen had said made sense. They had no hatred toward Asura, so there was no reason to die for him. This successor of Asura is truly terrifying. Is he really about to ascend to that realm? The god of goodness murmured. It appears so. We're lucky we didn't truly side with Asura, the god of evil breathed with relief. Asura recoiled into desperation. Alone against Chu Chen, what chance did he have? Asura judgment, he roared, unleashing his most terrible move. The Asura demon sword fell with scorching light, carrying the will to condemn all divinities. Chu Chen simply lifted a hand. The super divine artifacts he bore flared and merged into one. What had been the destruction dragon spear completed its evolution, taking on a new name in his grasp, the creation god spear. With a single strike, the Asura judgment was pulverized, and even the origin of Asura god was grievously damaged. Asura coughed up blood as his origin withered. He stared at Chu Chen in sheer terror. He was a dignified god king. How could he be undone by a single blow? What peerless power was this? Even with his origin crippled, Asura refused to surrender. He poured all his remaining strength into another attack, its brilliance so intense the god of destruction couldn't help but glance aside. The god of destruction sighed. It was over. Chu Chen had embarked on a path that had never existed before. Before he became a god, he had already killed the sea god with ease. Now, having truly taken a god position, though not yet complete, he wielded an authority Asura could not hope to resist. With one more strike, everything fell silent, and the Asura authority reverted back into Chu Chen's body. At the sight, the god of goodness and the god of evil smiled kindly and stepped forward, offering their own authorities to him as well. Their actions would not cost them their god positions. They remained god kings and could choose successors later. It seems we must welcome the return of the god of creation, someone breathed. Above the god realm, countless threads of light flowed together, condensing into a resplendent figure descending to the world. Chu Chen was surrounded by the power of creation, divine robes formed, and his super-divine artifacts evolved anew. The destruction dragon spear had matured into the creation god spear, the scepter of destruction into the creation scepter. He also wielded another super-divine artifact and the creation dragon wings. In his possession now lay the authorities of the 5 great god kings and the original power of creation itself. A faint current of law passed through the realm, invisibly reshaping restrictions. Spirit beasts becoming gods was no longer an impossible dream. Welcome, God of creation. Countless figures in the god realm paid homage. This was the true God of creation, the creator of the god realm, and astonishingly, he had reappeared. Now, I can breathe easier, the god of destruction said, relief in his voice. With the god of creation watching over the god realm, the vague perils he had feared might now be averted. With the god of creation's return, the fortunes of the god realm will blossom again. Our gamble paid off, the goddess of life said with a smile. Chu Chen went with the 4 of them to the god realm committee. After learning some matters of administration and settling a few affairs, he remembered the promise he had made to Ye Lingling, Qianren Shui, and the others. Seniors, I must return to the Douluo continent. There are matters I've yet to resolve, he said. They had no objections. From the moment Chu Chen inherited the god position of creation, their allegiance should naturally follow him. We'll go down with you and take a look. If we hold back our power, I believe the Douluo plane can handle it, the god of destruction offered. The goddess of life smiled. Goodness, evil, we'll be back soon. Chu Chen nodded. As divine energy flowed through him, his figure tore through space and departed the god realm, with the god of destruction and the goddess of life close at his side. When he arrived at the Douluo continent, the scene that met him was a transformed world. The Douluo Federation now stood in a brand new form. The continent had truly united, its affairs running smoothly. The original Spirit City had become the seat of the Douluo Federation's highest administration. The environment here is quite nice. If we ever get tired, why don't you and I retire to the Douluo continent, little green? The god of destruction suggested with a smile. That might be possible, the goddess of life replied. Chu Chen felt a flicker of disorientation. Time in the god realm flowed differently. A day passed there, the god of destruction reminded him, and an entire year passed here, the goddess of life added. He spread out his divine perception and sensed familiar faces gathering at the lake of life. Silver Dragon King, Di Tian, and other vicious beasts were present. Even Qian Renshui, Ye Lingling, Dugu Bo, and village chief Tig had come. Chu Chen descended above the lake of life, puzzled. Chu Chen? Qian Renshui was the first to call out. As soon as she felt his aura and turned, her face lit up. The others reacted in turn. When they realized he had returned, everyone rushed forward in joy. Yi Lingling and Chur both threw themselves into his arms. You're back. Village Chief Tig's voice cracked with emotion. Seeing Chu Chen become a divinity was a moment he'd waited for. He couldn't help but weep. Village Chief Grandpa, why are you all here? Chu Chen asked, bewildered. Then a new sensation surged through him. His bloodline flaring, a deep primal intimacy. It quickened his perception and filled him with an inexplicable joy. He stared at the lake of life as realization dawned. That kind of bloodline power, so intimate, so close, could only belong to someone with the most direct family connection. Why are you frozen, kid? You returned just in time. Your child has been born. You're a father now. Dugu Bo laughed loudly, clapping Chu Chen on the shoulder. Chu Chen stood motionless, stunned by the unexpected news. My child? Chu Chen landed beside the lake of life, his bloodline stirring with a joy he had never felt so strongly. He leaped down into the deepest part of the lake. Guye, he murmured. There was the Silver Dragon King, Guye, her face softer than he had ever seen it. She cradled a small figure in her arms. When she looked up at Chu Chen, a smile brightened her already beautiful face. You've come back, she said gently. Is it time? Chu Chen froze for a heartbeat, then understanding flooded him. He stepped forward and brought the Silver Dragon King into his arms. The little figure opened big, curious eyes, purple, like a night sky full of stars, clearly inheriting her mother's lineage. The child reached out a tiny hand and touched Chu Chen. The softest part of his heart was moved. He took the baby from Guyo and held her to his chest, with Guyo beside him. "You did well, Guyo," he said. Guyo smiled. "Let's go up. They must have been waiting a long time. This joy should be shared." Of course. Cradling the Silver Dragon King, Chu Chen reappeared above the lake. "Master, congratulations to both of you," Ditian, the Emerald Swan, and the other supreme beasts called in unison. Their eyes all fell on the child in Chu Chen's arms. Even though she was newborn, her bloodline was astonishing. She scanned everyone with those luminous pupils, already spirited and alert. Such powerful bloodline. Ditian breathed. "I checked. The little girls inherited the dragon god bloodline from Guyo, my destruction ancient dragon bloodline, and the blue-silver emperor bloodline." An uproar of whispers spread. "Terrifying power. Imagine what she'll be when she grows up," Dugubo exclaimed. Among them, perhaps the happiest, was village chief Tig, who had raised Chu Chen. Seeing Chu Chen with offspring made the old man seem years younger. He beamed and awkwardly took the child in his arms, smiling from ear to ear. "Chu Chen, does she have a name?" Dugubo asked. "Yes, pick one quickly," Chua urged. "Heh, Chu Chen and Guyue's names are linked. Chen, morning, and Yumoon, the sun and moon, dawn and dusk," Chandalu said with a grin. "How about one character each?" Chu Chen laughed. The Silver Dragon King nodded, thought for a moment, then said softly, "Use the character Yuo, the moon. Chandalu is right. It ties to our destiny. Then I'll choose the character Li. I wish her to be pure and serene like her name. Chuyuli." "A beautiful name," Yilingling approved, already imagining names for her and Chu Chen's future children. Hey, Yuli, let Brother Dtian hold you," Dtian offered, leaning forward with a smile, but the suggestion frightened the baby into a wail. With a tiny wave of her hand, she unleashed a surprising burst of power that made everyone laugh. The goddess of life stepped forward and took Yueli, planting a gentle kiss that bestowed the purest kiss of life. With the goddess's blessing, Yueli's future would be smooth. 1 year later, in the God Realm. "Old Poison, I finally awaited you," Chu Chen said the moment Dugubo arrived with Dugu Yan. He had sensed them coming and met them at the threshold. "This is the God Realm? It truly is a different sight," Dugubo laughed, delighted to see Chu Chen. The two exchanged warm greetings. "Old Poison, how is Douluo continent?" Chu Chen asked with a smile. Time ran differently here. 1 year in the God Realm had been more than 300 years on Douluo continent. "The Douluo Federation has become a giant," Dugubo replied. "Following the rules you left behind, development has been rapid. There's no need to worry." He smiled. "That's good. I did what I could. How the generations go on now is not my place to force." Duguyan was eager to see Ye Lingling, so Chu Chen took both of them to the Hall of Creation, his secluded place in the God Realm. Chuer, Ye Lingling, and Chan Renshui were there, and village chief Tig had joined them in retirement. The old man, now effectively immortal, spent his days teasing Yueli, who was already talking. Life suited him. "Hey, kid, the gods have heard the god of creation is holding a wedding. Everyone is excited," the god of destruction joked as he appeared. "This will be the grandest wedding in the God Realm," they laughed. A few days later, the entire God Realm buzzed. The god of creation's wedding was renowned, and the 4 brides, each a supremely beautiful existence, were the envy of all. Chu Chen had given formal status to the women who had stood by him. "The 9-colored goddess has sent a gift. She will pass on her god position's legacy," someone announced. The 9-colored goddess's position naturally went to Ye Lingling. Qian Renshui had already become a god. Chuer, once a spirit beast, could become a god of her own right, and the Silver Dragon King needed no introduction. She was the dragon god. Ditian, the Snow Empress, and other supreme beings would also ascend to godhood one after another. Chu Chen had intended to give Ye Lingling the god position of the goddess of life, but she refused, said the role was too great. Unable to change her mind, Chu Chen dropped the subject. For the time being, the god of destruction and the goddess of life would hold those positions longer. "I think Yueli should inherit our god positions one day," the goddess of life joked. "Yes," the god of destruction agreed. "Yueli has the power of destruction and life, plus the dragon god bloodline. She can inherit both." They slapped their thighs in agreement. Chu Chen could only stare. Those two were already planning the future. Daddy! Yueli, now walking with a small basket of flowers, ran and threw herself into Chu Chen's arms. Looking down at the porcelain-faced child, Chu Chen felt a joy that steadied him. Decades passed. Time flies. 10,000 years have gone by on Douluo continent. I sense the child of luck has been born. Soon, the God realm may welcome another powerful figure, Chu Chen said with a smile. Beside him stood the god of destruction, the goddess of life, and the newly appointed gods of goodness and evil, Li Yan and Jidong. I heard Rong Nianbing has taken a liking to that child. Well, the Asura god position is vacant. If he's the child of luck and grows strong, he could inherit the Asura god position, someone suggested, and everyone agreed. I have one more thing to ask of him, Chu Chen said softly. Elsewhere, on Douluo continent in the Stardo Great Forest, Electrolux's divine sense appeared. It was instantly twisted by an indescribable force of space and time. In an unknown space, Electrolux saw Chu Chen. "Who are you?" Electrolux whispered, shocked. He felt the overwhelming presence of an astonishing being. "The god of creation," Chu Chen answered. His voice carried the force of law. In an instant, Electrolux's shattered remnant was repaired and his physical body reshaped. "Thank you, Senior," Electrolux said in amazement. A remnant soul restored to a full body at once was beyond belief. "Electrolux, I need you to teach a child, help him grow, and use your necromancy combined with the authority of life I give you to create a method for spirit fusion," Chu Chen instructed, bestowing the pure authority of life upon Electrolux. With this power, the spirit soul method would no longer require spirit beasts to actively fuse. Finding an initial batch of spirit beasts and providing the power of origin would allow spirit souls to be created without limit. Even one spirit beast could produce enough spirit souls to meet the needs of hundreds of spirit masters who met the requirements. This is something I promised to my beloved. As the god of creation, I cannot directly interfere in Douluo continent's affairs, but having you help the child of luck does not break the rules. Electrolux nodded without hesitation. No problem. When Electrolux agreed, Chu Chen smiled slightly. Space and time twisted again, and Electrolux encountered Huo Yuhao, who had nearly absorbed a 10-year wind baboon at the time. A few years later, Chu Chen stood in the void realm of the universe, holding the Silver Dragon King's hand. Before them hovered a brand new planet, a new home for the spirit beasts. "Guyu, I found a planet for the spirit beasts. Huo Yuhao has become the Asura god, and the spirit beasts are providing the power of origin. As long as the spirit transmission organization continues..." Chu Chen trailed off. "Spirit masters will no longer have to hunt spirit beasts, and the spirit beasts will have a new home," Guye said softly. "This is the best outcome. Thank you, Chu Chen," she added. "Between you and me, do we need thanks?" Chu Chen laughed, embracing her. They returned to the god realm, where the playful Yueli trotted over and threw herself into their arms. Chu Yueli had become the beloved little princess of the god realm, carrying 3 spirits, a mysterious first spirit, the destruction dragon spear, and the dragon god. Even for Chu Chen, such combinations were staggering. "Where are Mother Lingling and the others?" he asked. "Mother Lingling and Mother Chior went shopping with Aunt Yaner," Yueli answered after a moment's thought. "Xiaoshui is trying to break through to God King. The angel god in her hands already has the foundation to ascend." Chu Chen gathered Guyu and Yueli to him as the god realm's setting sun painted the sky. He smiled and soaked in the beauty. "Daddy, tell me a story about when you were young again," Yueli begged. Chu Chen began. "Then start from Dihun village," she urged. "How is it another blue-silver grass?" the middle-aged man in charge of spirit awakening asked, frowning at the report before him.